Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. I just had to restart a live. Can you go get me my sage jar, please? And thank you. I just had to restart a live here, guys, because I face constant manipulation of my lives, which is no different from honestly anybody else going through gang stalking, putting out their messages. You're always gonna have, this is gang stalking, this is what it is, being targeted, right? On the surface, it looks like you're just being targeted by deranged people or people who are weird or whatever on the surface. But in reality, it's people who are trying to stop your mission in life. They are trying to stop the work you are doing for God. These are people trying to literally get in the way of progress. And it's like, unfortunately, you have to be an example, and that's tough. That's tough. Moments like this, definitely they try your patience. I think I've just gone through this kind of crap so often that I'm just at the point, like, and it's harder when you're a person who likes to do things well, because you do want things to be done a certain way. And it's kind of like working really hard to pass and to get a grade, and then you fail. Even though, and this used to happen to me, so I used to do like little assignments and stuff like that, and I'd have all the answers, and I would be almost positive, and this has happened to me my entire life, even in school. I'd be positive I had the correct answers. I'd be positive that I knew everything. Trust me, even if I cheated, I would still either fail or not get my grade. Even if I was cheating, I wasn't getting my grade. Like, it's that crazy. When I say, when these kind of attacks are on you, these kind of attacks of the enemy are on you, I mean, literally, like, whether you know it or not, you're under attack. So I'm grateful that I've come to a point in life where I understand why this is happening to me, that I've come to a point in life where I understand why this has been occurring my entire life. I understand why I've had problems with issues with people, even though I've been an amazing person to people my entire life. It's like, it helps. It takes the edge off to know. Because if you didn't know you were being targeted, you'd be like, wait, that's weird. How comes I'm not getting my numbers? How comes I'm not getting this? How comes this is not working? How comes that's not working? And let me tell you, these people go as far as to pay these social people working at social media networks, people working at Google. They don't even have to pay them. These people are in pocket. They have people in pocket at every social media company, Google, every major corporation. Like, everybody is in hand. They're holding hands in this thing. So when I say you're fighting a threat, it's like, if you let yourself have an emotional reaction every single time something happens, you're going to be miserable, and that's what people want. You have to come to a point where you're just like, look it, this is the life that I'm living. This life is going to test your patience. It is testing your patience. And what it is doing is, it's really, you're being projected somebody's life. There are people, this is the best way for me to explain it, okay? There are people who, they have sold their life, or married entities. And yes, you can do that. A marriage is not just the traditional thing that we see as a marriage. A marriage is a partnership that is for life. So it could be any gender, it could be human to human, or it could be human to entity, human to spirit. And gang stalking is like, I hate to say it, gang stalking is like your courtship, period, with spirit. It is your courtship with a spirit realm. And when you come out of gang stalking, you marry into your service to spirit. You may not believe or understand what I'm saying. This is not really something you can negotiate your way into or out of either. This is just the life path that you are on. You're on this life path where you're of service. You don't know it. You don't know that you're being initiated. There are two types of initiations. I never knew what initiation costed, because I would hear that people got initiated into these like orishas or these spiritual groups or these covens or these whatever. And what they basically do, it's like, it's a very formal way of training you along this religious path, but they control your ascension. They do. Now, I don't know how an ascension in that way works, but I was reading online that this girl said she paid $30,000 for her ascension. $30,000. So she didn't pay it. She said it happened at 13. That means her family paid $30,000 at that age to initiate her. That is insane. I never knew that's how it worked. I never knew that's how expensive it is either. You're being initiated for free. Gang stalking is the initiation, and it's free monetarily, but you're being initiated by the universe. And so every lesson is pre-planned. Mine has taken 2 years. The hardest 2 years of my life, okay? Initiation does a number of things. This initiation, first of all, it tests your endurance, it tests your strength, it tests your loyalty to what you believe in and to God. It tests your ability to listen and to release control of things that you cannot control. It tests your ability to hold on in tough situations, and it strips your life of anything that's going to get in the way of service. A lot of the times that is family, that is friends, that is places that you live, that's relationship. And I'm going to repeat, it's family. It's like the relationships that are tightest to you. And when God strips you, or the universe strips you of these relationships, it comes in the form of a betrayal. It comes in the form of abandonment. It comes in the form of people who stand back as you suffer. But this is what they are supposed to do, because you can't take them with you. So in a sense, it's like you have to sacrifice that relationship in order to get your, we call it inheritance, but it's the path that you're supposed to walk in life. So you have to sacrifice people, places, and things that do not serve your higher purpose in life, your North Node. Now, I would say you're extremely special if you get to walk this path. Now, I would say you are. This is not an easy path. This path is the path of ascended masters. This is not for young souls. This is not for immature energies. This is not for just people who wake up and don't have the ability to master their vessel, the human body. This is not for people who do not have the ability to master their vessel. So whatever these little initiations are, whatever people are paying 30 grand for, or whatever they're paying to get into these societies, or whatever this is, when the universe initiates you, You cannot plead to come out of initiation because you feel like it's time, because it's hurting, because you can't. This is a mountain that cannot be negotiated. You're not negotiating this mountain. You're not moving around it. You have to go up this mountain, and there are 4 seasons on this mountain. There's every going to be in a very hot summer, an extremely cold winter. Everything, the conditions are brutal on here. This is brutal. This is tough. So it's going to test you, and you're going to pass, because you're going to stay in it until you pass. You're going to stay in it until you learn the lesson. This is how life in general works for everybody. But for you in an ascension especially, you're going to be in an ascension, and so many weird things are going to start happening to you that even if you don't believe in spirituality and God and higher powers, spirits are going to appear to you. Whatever it takes. Because you have to accept the reality. Things are going to happen. God is going to speak to you. And every time you get tempted to drift in this direction and not believe, God's going to jolt you back. God's going to jolt you back. And you're going to be like, hi, hello. Spirituality is very real. Weird things are happening. You guys are calling it energy. You guys are calling it V2K. You're calling it all of these names. This is spiritual warfare. You're in spiritual warfare. And you got to battle your way out. And this is being fought energetically. Now, there are people going through gang stalking who don't know that they're going through gang stalking. They just think they have bad luck and they think weird things are happening. When it gets to the active part of physically gang stalking you on the street, it's because they can't kill you. It's because they tried everything already and nothing's working. I knew I was being gang stalked way before they started following me on the street. I knew I was being followed. I knew I was being monitored. I knew I was being watched. It wasn't weird. It was weird, but I knew something was happening. This started for me from like 2020, maybe even a little bit before. No, 2020. 2020. Yeah, 2020, I would say. These people have been trying in my city, have been trying with me from before that. But when the super hard heavy hitters came, 2020, and it was weird stuff all the time. I knew people were trying to follow me around to see where I live. I knew people were trying to hack into my phone. They were trying to find social media accounts. They were trying to find things. I knew it. I could see it. I didn't put it together or piece it together because it's like I could ignore it. Honestly, I would have ignored it forever if I could. They don't allow you to. They want something from you and you're not doing it. And the attempts get more and more brutal and desperate and whatnot. But the thing is, it increases in intensity for a reason, because you need to learn. So I like to think, now I have all these notes here, but I'm going to jump around as things naturally come up to me. I think there are particular skill sets that people have that make them very attractive for an ascension process. People with strong morals, people who tend to be more loyal, people who are more honest, and people who have more integrity. But most of all, what is most valued is strength and endurance. In my opinion, I'm talking from observation. These are the qualities, it seems to me, that God wants the most, in my opinion. Because if you have strength and you have endurance and you're obedient and you have integrity, first of all, it's the integrity that leads to the strength, because the other option is doing something that would go against your heart. We all watch movies and we see this example in a lot of movies where there are people who, this is wrong. They just say to themselves, this is wrong. And so they put themselves at risk. They put all kinds of things at risk to do the right thing. These are people that the universe favors. In fact, people might say, I've heard people called earth angels, like just angels on earth, angels in a human body. God protects them. They need heavier layers of protection. These are people that will not hesitate. If they see a baby fall in the river, they're going to jump in after the baby, save it. They don't think about themselves. They don't think about their own life. The typical person stands there and says, I have a wife and kids at home, or I have my own family or my own business. They stand back and they watch. And there are a lot of men like that do that. But there are people who will not hesitate to do the right thing. These are people of integrity. And these are people are more attractive to everyone. If this is a man, he's going to be more attractive to women. If this is a woman, she's going to be held in higher honor to men. But you're also attractive to high vibrational energies, to the universe, and then you're also attractive to lower vibrational energies. So there's going to be a tug of war for you all the time. They all want you. If you have strength of character, like you can endure hardship, the universe is going to fight extremely hard for you. And you're going to be deemed fit to carry energies, to carry with you spirits that cannot survive. These spirits cannot merge with average normal people, because your integrity will say, I'm not taking bribes. Your integrity will say, I'm not going to use my gifts for things that are wrong. I'm not going to go through certain things with people because it's wrong. It's just wrong. And that is what they love. So they'll say, we can bestow this person with very special abilities because this person is going to do the right thing. This person is probably a selfless person who's not going to even think about themselves or think, how can I enrich myself? How can I be selfish about this? How can I make this work in my favor? This person is going to be a person that says, there are people starving. People need help. Somebody needs this and that. And they're probably going to use their gift to help other people. So these are the people that the universe is going to give more protection to, because this is the point. This is why we get gifts. It's to help other people. It's in favor of humanity at large. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you have the ability, first of all, you recognize that you're being gang stalked, and there are people who've been made homeless and they still think that it was a series of bad luck events. They don't understand that they were gang stalked and it was orchestrated, because gang stalking is meant to be underhanded. You're not meant to detect them. So the fact that you already recognize that you are being gang stalked already sets you apart, and it terrifies people that you know what's going on. It makes you more vulnerable in a sense, because it's like, everybody else got gang stalked, put out of business, put out of a job, abused. How comes this one is recognizing everything that's going on? So that's number one. That's number one. Now, you're going through gang stalking and you're recognizing that you're going through gang stalking, and you're not dying. You're not getting sick and going to the hospital like they intend. I mean, they're throwing everything at you. And every time I say this, I mean, they're ripping the kitchen sink off of the wall and trying to beat you over the head with it, and nothing will happen. Number one, that makes you even more desirable, because what the hell is this? Everybody else fell sick. I'm gonna tell you guys something. I'll be watching something that is kind of giving me, not recently, but this was in the beginning of the year. It's giving me insight into like what it is that I'm going through, and it's giving me more information. And you know, they keep tabs on you in every way. And right when they said something, an explosion happened and my neighbor's house blew up. Everybody had to go outside, fire trucks and everything all over the place. And when I went outside and this girl seen me, she jumped out of her skin and she went like this. And I knew that explosion was meant for my house. First of all, when it happened, I knew it was meant for my house. I already knew that. But when they saw me outside, one of my neighbors was like this, like she jumped out of her skin. It was as if, and she was happy when I got there. And after that, she was tense the whole time. And I just felt like I knew it was for me. It was supposed to be for me. And they were happy, like, okay, finally, like, you know, they're going to get rid of me. And, you know, it didn't happen that day. And when all of this occurred, it was like, but this is not the first time that I've had one of these life or death experiences with this situation. Okay, this has been a lot of this stuff, but this is the kind of thing that continues to happen. You intuitively know it, you instinctively know it, and you just get to the point where you stop worrying about it because it's like, actually, I never really was worried about it. I used to smell gas in my house a lot at my business. I would have like ceiling leaks that would not like randomly happen. All kinds of things were happening. All kinds of things were happening. But you know, you just kind of get to a point with it where you're like, you know that you're going to be fine. And you know that, give me a second here. Sorry about that. So you're going to get to the point where you're just going to accept that it is what it is. And what's happening is what's happening. And this is a journey that you're on. And like I was saying, and I was saying this in a previous live, like you go through this journey and you think it's just in the beginning, you think you're praying and you're praying for your old life back. And it's taking kind of long because, you know, I think people like us, we've been through crap in our life so much and God comes in and God saves you. So in the beginning, when things are happening, you kind of don't worry about it. You're like, it'll fix itself. Let me just give it some time. And then it's going on and on and on, and things keep changing and your life keeps getting rearranged, but you're keeping faith. And then it continues to worsen, like the abuse and the assault on your life keeps getting worse. You keep going. And then you get to a point where you're like, wait, my life is way different than what I used to know, than anything that I'm used to. You keep going. And then you get to a point where you're like, I'm not going back, am I? Like, this is what's happening here. And I'm at a point where I'm feeling like I came to a point, I was like, I think this is just what life, this new life is. And this is what I'm being trained for. I'm being trained to endure this kind of existence where it's like, I guess that's what they mean when they say when you're a targeted individual, you remain a targeted individual. It's like, I'm just gonna continue on this journey where I'm gonna have to keep meeting people who, to be honest, the universe has no other choice but to clean up this mess. That's just how I see it. Basically, in gang stalking, you're here to clean up spiritual deviance. You are here to clean up a spiritual mess. Like the universe has no choice but to get rid of these people. These people are working with entities, and this is the only way that it can be done, is to send in earth angels, to send in the universe. Okay, let me explain it. Let me take a step back because it'll sound a little bit out there for people. When you're doing witchcraft, when you're a witch, when you do spell work, you have to align yourself with dark energies. You have to marry them in a lot of cases. You have to serve them. When you put up an altar, you light your first candle to an entity, and the entity starts giving to you, taking care of you. The longer the altar is lit, that marriage is stronger. Now, you cannot just light altars and turn them off. you light an altar, you start worshiping this entity, it takes a hold. It takes a stronghold. It comes to a point where the entity almost wants to drive the bus. It wants to merge completely. So these people are worshiping these entities, and these entities say to them, we can make it so that you never get arrested. We can make it so that you can never be prosecuted. There will never be enough evidence. We can make it so that no one will rise up against you. We can make sure that we secure your kingdom here, but you need to give us something. And it works like this all the time. Give and take. It gives you something, but it takes something. It needs something. So they light these altars, and what do? They need to sacrifice to the entity. And who do they sacrifice? People like yourself that are being gang stalked. You are a human sacrifice, but you're a living sacrifice. You are a living sacrifice. As you live, it consumes your light. It eats of your love, your abundance, your peace, your hope. I have a live that's coming on tomorrow that will talk about, it's in my how-to playlist. It's how to do this and how to do that. It's how to do a return to sender, but it also gives you a spiritual routine for spiritual hygiene, to keep your energy clean, to send the energy that is not yours, that is giving you the spirit of paranoia, that is giving you the spirit of anxiety, that is giving you the spirit of hopelessness. That is what it's doing. That's what they're doing. They're giving you these dirty energies, and they're taking your hope, your peace, all of that for themselves. And they're using this energy from which to build a life. So they send you the dirty energy. It invades your aura. Your good energy leaves because it is not a good vibrational match to you. In anxiety, you don't feel hope. In depression, you don't feel love. You don't feel hope. You don't feel peace. So that energy leaves you, the bad energy stays, and it only attracts bad things to you because that is the vibrational match that you are. When you get rid of that energy that is not yours, it returns back to people who have sent it to you, and the good stuff which was yours ends up coming back. They lose everything that they built on your energy. It's like a repossession. You're repossessing your energy. You're calling your energy back, and you're dispelling what was not yours. This is a return to sender. Now, let's continue what I was saying. These people, they put these entities on an altar, and they must sacrifice something to the entity. They must give the entity something, and these entities want more and more and more and more. So these people have married these spirits. They are carrying the spirits on their vessel. The spirit gives them psychic abilities. It gives them the ability to read your mind, because that's how you feel. Don't you feel that? You feel that energy that these people are reading your mind, that they always know something. How could they know it if the entity gives them all these gifts? And in exchange, they keep having to sacrifice people and do different things. Now, conversely, on the bright side, on the light side, you who are being gang stalked, what is happening with you? Angels, light energies would like to be in your vessel because you have the capacity to carry light and goodness. You are a good person. They've kept you a good person until your ascension, and the ascension is where they prepare you to carry their energy. You need to learn how to carry a light energy. Why? Because light energies make you susceptible to attacks. Why? Because all they do up there is fight. All they do in the spirit realm is fight all the time. It is a constant tug of war, a fight between good and evil. We lose people, they lose people to us. Yes, we go and we snatch up some of their people all the time. The best. The best. We snatch up the best. What makes someone the best? Their strength and their endurance. You can pay your karma and you can be washed clean. You can pay your karmic debt, but we need what you have. So we're going to pluck that one. And those of us here on the light side that make the mistake of being too low vibrational, being too much in our egos, doing wrong things, you lose the ability to carry the light and they snatch you in the dark. If they can get you, they snatch you over. This is a constant tug of war. So what happens is when the universe spots someone and they say, I like that one. And the universe only picks the finest. I should let you know, exquisite taste, intelligent, strong. So strong, you are the envy of actual entities as a human being. You are already the envy of spirits because you're that endurant. This is what is valued in the spiritual world. When they say people are of high honor, what do they mean? They mean people who keep their word. And energies make it hard to keep your word. It's easy to keep your word when you're in a good mood. It is not easy to keep your word where it might cost you your life. So if you're a type of human being who is ready to risk your life for what you said you were gonna do, then you will be held in high honor in the spirit realm on either side, because that's what anybody wants. That's what, there's the value. Let me explain this. The story of Jesus Christ walked among us, did his targeted individual persecution walk with elegance and grace. Never, well, he did lose his cool sometimes in the Bible. You can see he went in the synagogue and he was flipping tables. They were gambling in there, very disrespectful. But he did this walk with such elegance and such grace. And he did his walk and he got to the point where the Holy Spirit revealed to him, they're gonna nail you to a cross and I'm gonna allow it. And he had to endure that. And he spent 40 days and 40 nights crying, begging, if this cup could be held from me, please, if it is your will. And he still had to endure it. And he went through that. And now, so many years later, we still honor the spirit and the story of Jesus Christ, because this is a person who was held in the highest of honor. A person who would lay down their life for God's will. The story of Jesus Christ is the metaphor of what you're going through in spiritual ascension, that your spirit you must put a death to the old self and be reborn here, be reborn, be sacrificed, if you will, and be reborn here on earth into your new self. That is the purpose of the story of Jesus Christ. We are doing our Christ walk. This persecution, this constant spiritual attack, constant temptation, these energies that are obsessed with you. This is your Christ walk. This is what you're going through. It is your Christ walk. And now you're realizing that there is a good and there is an evil and there's a lot going on spiritually, and you're now figuring it all out. And gang stalking is your ascension. When they say many are called but few are chosen, the universe decides to pluck and pick people who have something that she needs. What does she need? Integrity, honesty, those who can survive. If you can make it up the mountain and get up there and pitch your flag, this is the beginning of heaven on earth for you. And it's not to say that it is going to be without its persecution, because it will. It will have its own persecution as well. But you would have broken through to a level where very few people get to. And that is to be a star. That is to combust. How are stars built? From pressure. From pressure. Pressure makes you a star. There's a lot of pressure, and then you burst and you combust into a ball of light. And then you get to sit amongst other people. And I talk about all the time on my channel What happens to celebrities who are stars? They are gang stalked constantly. They are constantly gang stalked, and they're constantly pulled into these secret societies, and they're constantly controlled. And they put you in power. Either they put you in power or they get you while you're in power. And if they can't get you, they do things like, just the other day we saw Nicki Minaj was arrested as she does her next world tour. And if you're that well connected and you have that much money, and they're still persecuting you, they want to take her down. We heard I noticed it from a while back that they've been trying to get rid of P. Diddy for a while. Like, he couldn't get something for his business. He was going bankrupt in some way. It's been a full-on attack of him. These things happen in plain sight over and over and over again. And they put these people in situations where, well, they don't put it, these people volunteer to be a part of these societies, but these societies, the same way they build you up, they could tear you down at any time. So these people are constantly in situations where once they give you the money, they give you the power, they give you all of this, and they can snatch it back at any time. They can take it back. And they do. And when they do it publicly. It's publicly humiliating. They strip you of it. Because they do that as an example to the other ones, like, if you guys step out of line, if you guys no longer want to cooperate, if you have a line you don't want to cross, there's no line you can't cross. If we tell you to do something that is far below what you want to do, well, that's too bad, because if you don't, we're going to take everything. And they just flip the switch and they take it from you. And that is it. So this is how it works. You go through your ascension, and if you make it through, and you get help making it through, that's the whole point. Whatever energy that you're supposed to align with, that's the energies that come to you that help you through your ascension, because you're supposed to make it through. There's some people where it's like they're supposed to make it through. Some people don't make it through, but some people are supposed to make it through. And I don't know if it's a good thing or not if you're supposed to make it through, because if you're supposed to make it through, you're going to stay here until you learn these lessons that you're supposed to learn. But you're going to get help. They're going to send you people. Listen, I'm doing for TIs what was done for me. People endured a lot to bring these messages to people who were targeted. I only got through my ascension because of people on the internet telling me what the heck is going on here. What is going on here? What is happening to my life? And it was so weird because it was like everything they were saying was what was actually happening to me. And I was like, oh, okay, I get it. And let me tell you, it wasn't just people on the internet. It was all kinds of things. I've told this story before of having a coffee on my deck in my backyard, and birds, I mean, a sea of birds, of crows, black crows, were landing on house after house and skipping houses and other houses and other houses. They were telling me who the gang stalking neighbors were, because every house they landed on was somebody that had a problem with me that I didn't know. And it skipped some houses, and they kept going through the entire subdivision. I was just standing there. Like, if I had my phone in my hand, I wanted to take a video. I was frozen. House, skip this one, house, skip two, house. And they would stop and they would land for a minute and they would stay there. And then they would get up again. And I'm like, what is happening? I have so many stories like this. When the universe initiates you, the universe initiates you. Everywhere is signs. The people on my case, they think that I only get downloads a certain way. Listen, the universe it inundates you with signs, and you know what I'm talking about. They inundate you with information. Oh, you doubted the first time we told you? We're going to tell you 5 more times. Everywhere you go, you will hear the same story. There will never be a doubt of what you're supposed to know, where you're supposed to go, what you're supposed to do. So if you don't do what you're supposed to do, this is a choice. You've made a choice not to do it, a conscious choice. It makes it very clear for you what you are supposed to do, where you're supposed to be, who you're not supposed to be around. It goes out of its way. It goes out of its way to show you this. So you are going through your ascension. You're climbing this hill. And when you get to the top, there is going to be a table. Because in an ascension, a spiritual ascension like this, it is equal give and take. And with the same degree that it is taking everything you have in you to survive it, it is with the same degree that it will flood you with blessings. It will be a tsunami. You will be overwhelmed. Everything. You get to have everything. Whatever you want, you need to think about it now in every way. A 10 of Cups in the tarot is not just financial. You got to think about every way. What do you want from friendships? What do you want in love? What do you want in family? I don't care if you had a family before and you lost it. You get a new one. You need to think of what you want. What do you want financially? What do you want? What do you want? It is equal give and take. And believe me, they know what you want, but you need to be consciously aware. You need to have it in your consciousness. Exactly what it is you've always wanted but never did. Where you want to live, how you want to dress, what you want to have. You want a pet tiger on an estate? What is it? You need to be outrageous. You need to be ridiculous with it. Whatever it is that you want, your wildest dream, because it's taking a lot from you, and this journey will take a lot from you, but it is equal give and take. It is heaven on earth. What is heaven on earth to you? You got to think about what that is. You got to consciously be aware of what that is. You want to clip pictures out of magazines. You want to stick it somewhere. What do you want to do? Because you need to be very consciously aware of that. Now, it's very difficult for you to believe that if you are inundated with negative emotions, depression, anxiety, fear. What? Nobody's coming to collect your bones. And I keep repeating that. The universe is creation. It's the energy of life and death. It will not come for your bones if it's initiating you to be of service. In order for you to pass away, the universe needs to agree that it's your time to pass away. And then it has to come collect you. The Reaper has to come for you. In fact, in this situation, the Reaper is protecting you. Death itself, life itself is protecting you. Time is protecting you. Karma is holding your hand. So this fear, it is just like a blocker. It's an energetic blocker. You don't need it. And conversely, also, even if it's your time to go, it's going to be your time to go. Why are you wasting your time being afraid of something? If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Why waste minutes and seconds here being fearful? You're already being gang stalked. This is already happening. So the first thing you must do, I have this video called The 7 Phases of Gang Stalking. And the first thing you have to do in the first phase is get rid of the fear. The fear in what? These are people. And as I was saying in another live, in the last live, listen, you're dealing with Mickey Mouse gang stalkers. Why? Because you deal with gang stalkers according to your socioeconomic status. The gang stalkers that come for you are according to how much money you have. If you have more money than someone, they're not going to take you down, okay? They come for you according to your level in life. So if you're P. Diddy and you have hundreds of millions, then it's going to take a lot of money to pull you down. Because we need to get enough money to pay a CEO in a company to not approve something. That CEO already makes 100 million a year. So we're going to have to put a lot of money in his pocket. Do you know how much money it probably took to get Nicki Minaj arrested? Like, Nicki Minaj has enough money to meet the chief of police face to face at 3 a.m. at his house. Okay? So it's going to take a lot of money to do things like this. It's going to be worth it. It's going to be where Nicki Minaj does not want to pay that much money to clean up the situation, but she probably did have to pay money to clean up the situation either way. That's how it goes. So think about how much money you have, and think about the gang stalkers that are doing. Listen, first of all, the people gang stalking me are broke. I don't care what they're talking about. I don't care what little house they have. They feel way too happy about this little house, this little car, this little whatever. They feel way too happy about these little things. People are gang stalking me and they work at the mall. What? Who wants to be working at the mall? What is the point of being a gang stalker if I have to work at the mall? People are gang stalking me and their conditions are filthy. Like, I mean, their physical dwellings are filthy. There's not no real, like, listen, I'm just saying. The people coming at you, who has time to follow you on the street? I used to think this to myself all the time. You'll never see a Rolls Royce trailing you. You'll never see a Ferrari or a nice BMW trailing you. It's some freaking piece of crap Civic with a missing headlight. That's who's gonna take $50 and a crushed up pack of cigarettes with chewed up gum stuck to the bottom of it. These are not really smart people. It's not like they're intelligent. It's not like they're scholars. It's not like they're PhDs. These people don't want to. These kinds of people, you gotta pay real money for people like that to gang stalk you. You need, like, what is it gonna take for me to, sacrifice some of my dignity here? What is it? Listen, I have a PhD and I have a good job or a business. To sacrifice my reputation, I don't even think 50 grand is worth it. Because at this level, I know how to make 50 grand. You gotta pay people like that real money. So the level of gang stalking you're at is street rats. People that will take just because they don't like you. They have nothing to lose. So don't worry about it. What are these people gonna do? People who can barely lace together a sentence. People who talk about the words that you use. You use big words. I mean, come on. Please. Now, I got so lucky as to get a certain crowd. Thank God. These are people that will continue to repeat mistakes no matter how much it doesn't work. I was lucky in my ascension that I did not get people who matched my intelligence. I thank you. It's not like I was getting CIA level people. It's not like I'm getting Hollywood level people. It's not like I'm getting, like I always say, the pharmaceutical companies. You're not getting international spies. You're not getting people who know how to mirror your energy. You're not getting people who can mask very well. You're not getting people with a good budget. Quite frankly, if you gave them a good budget, these are the people that would take the budget to themselves and not do a good job. They keep the money in their pocket. This is more money than they've seen. So you must understand that you should not worry, that this is the kind of crap you experience at the base of the mountain. And Spirit's saying to you that you do not belong at the base of this mountain. We need to climb up higher. But do remember, the higher you climb, the bigger the threat. So everything you're given is to make sure that you could be of service. You are a custodian of gifts. You are a custodian of any wealth you get. You are a custodian. You're taking care of these things. And it's a multifaceted thing. You're going to be working with your ancestors, and your ancestors are making alliances in the spiritual world. And this wealth that you carry and these things that you take care of are not just for you. They are for the generations after you. You may be giving birth to your ancestors. They're going to come back and they deserve to have a piece of the wealth that they've helped you in the spirit realm to acquire. You have children that are going to come and grandchildren. And like I've said in other videos, you're the forerunner of building this new kingdom for yourself, this new house. And this house is not one generation, so you must think long term. It's not just about abusing it. Of course, you can get nice things, but we are not just here to abuse and waste. And your children are going to be brought up in the right way, and they're going to know the truth. They're going to know about spirituality. They're going to learn to pray. They're going to learn to spiritually cleanse and protect themselves because they're going to need it, because they're going to be wealthier than you. They're going to build on the foundation that you've laid. If you end up being a $10 million person, your child is so used to that, they want to be a $50 million person, and your grandchild's going to want to be a $100 million person, and on and on. That is the point. That is how you build a legacy. That is how you raise children. But there is spiritual inheritance as well, and that is a life of service, and you prepare them for a life of service to carry on where you left off. In service of God, always. You can be a $50 million person in service only of God. And the generation that breaks that loses everything. They forfeit everything that's been built, because we don't build things in dishonesty. Because God is not going to bless a lineage so that you can take it and serve lower entities and lower forces. And that's just how it works. Everything is in service of God. Why? Equal give and take. All relationships must be enjoyed in balance. Equal give and take. And it's only right. So right now, as you're living, as you're going through, I just saw a fly. By the way, flies are monitoring spirits. Kill those things out of your house. They're not supposed to be here. Everything is equal give and take in this universe, and it should. Imbalances come when you work with lower entities that take more than they give, because the truth is that they couldn't give in general. What lower entities enable you to do is to go steal. They don't have anything to give you, but they can make it possible for you to steal. They cannot outright give you. Excuse me, when it comes to even when you work with God, God doesn't just give you things by magic. This is not what you're on earth for. You see, entities give you things by breaking spiritual law, but through spiritual means. So people will do like money magic and all that stuff. But when you get it through these means, you lose it through those means as well. And God encourages you to work for things because we're on earth. If you look at astrology, the signs that make a lot of money, that are known to be good with money and physical possessions, are earth signs. Earth placements: Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus. Because on earth, you build this kind of material wealth, and these signs are known to be very hardworking. So you are supposed to work for things. You're supposed to work hard. Nothing by magic, nothing by candles, nothing by... You can ask God to bless your work. You can ask God to multiply what you're doing, but you're gonna have to take every single step yourself. Nothing by magic, and they're saving you by doing that. If you had built anything that you had in your life in that way, like this, it would be gone. I mean, literally overnight. You don't know what it looks like when money sinks out of your hand, eh? When money falls out of your hand, you could literally have 50,000 in the bank and it will drain in like 3 months. I mean, it finds a way to leave. Things start happening, emergencies, problems, something. There's always something. So you cannot build in this way. Even the same way as you go through your ascension is preparing you to climb this mountain one step at a time up the mountain. Do not rush it, because every step, every challenge you overcome on your way up the mountain is something. It's a skill that you need while you're up there. It will save you while you're up there. It will save you. So the tarot readers who came before us, who were our eyes in the beginning, these tarot readers need to face a second ascension because they have not learned very valuable skills. Right now, all the tarot readers are falling sick. They're under spiritual attack. And that is their ascension because they don't practice spiritual hygiene. Divination, pulling cards and asking spirit to give you messages. You shouldn't be in the spiritual realm without protection. They do divination, they read cards, there's no protection. Their homes are not protected spiritually. There are huge gaps in their spiritual knowledge. And so they need a second ascension, but they were needed very early. But they need a second ascension to learn all of these things. Now, you guys who are watching me or people who watch my channels, I give you that information early because it's needed. When you go to be ordained in these cults, these covens, these secret societies, these orishas, whatever, they give you some of this information and they make it like a curriculum, if you will. Like they give you this information. You're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. Now, they're saying that these initiations are not very robust or whatnot, right? But I can tell you, having gone through what I've gone through, I had to learn it myself. The universe schooled me on doing this by letting me go through the consequences of what happens when you don't do it. That's how the energy that I call Mother the Universe works. This is how you get your information. You don't get it because they say, lesson 1, do this. You get it because someone attacks you and now you're searching for a remedy. Up and down, and this is painful, and you're gonna find one, and it's trial and error. And then in finding it, you naturally become sensitive to energy because you're like, this is what it feels like to be attacked. This is what peaceful feels like. This is what clean energy feels like. This is what dirty energy feels like. If I don't clean, this is what's gonna happen. And then you learn slowly but surely, and you go through it. Not everybody has the ability to learn like that, because some people do not connect the dots between, oh my God, if I don't sage, nothing in my house will work. Nothing in my life will work. What? You mean just by burning this? Yeah, because the energy is real. See, our disconnect is we start thinking about the universe like all of nature and all of life and the atmosphere and the stars, which is true. But you don't think about it as an actual entity, as like an actual God. And it is. It's an actual, it can manifest in an actual figure, like a ghost, the same way. You have to understand that the energy, when it's not just somebody sending you a feeling, you can, if you were to, you can see it. It's energy, like it's actual, it's like how you feel the wind. You can't touch it, you can't carry it, you can't bottle it, but you feel it and it's there. It's like that. The energy is like the wind. So that is the perfect description for it. It's there. So if you're in a windy area, there's a lot of wind. If you're in a space where there's a lot of dirty energy, then there's a lot of dirty energy. There's a lot of energy. We got to clear it out. Why? Because it's not ours and it's uninvited. This is invading boundaries. When somebody feels the audacity to send all this crap your way, it is not yours. You must clear it. You must send it back. This is how it works. So this was a point I was going to make and I got sidetracked. There are two ways for people to come into the spiritual realm. You can pay for a initiation, or you can pay for an ascension. People pay to get gifts. So there's certain people that, witch doctors and whatnot, they house energies. They can house an energy in something. They might put it in a picture frame. They might put it on a crystal. They might put it in something where they can house the energy, not on themselves because they don't want to carry it because they know it's dangerous. That's your first sign that you don't want an energy. The first sign that you're not supposed to take a spirit is when the person giving you the spirit doesn't house it themselves. They just contain it and they sell it. So yeah, you can pay like 50,000, 100,000, all kinds of money for spirits. But when you get this spirit and you house it, you're going to see why you shouldn't have done so. So some people, they can house spirits, right? On objects. So you can pay to get this spirit, and this spirit's going to give you certain gifts, talents, ability to read mind, to be psychic, to be this. Some people are born with these gifts, but some people, in order to have this gift, they have to buy it. The same way that they buy themselves into these organizations, these secret societies, they have to gain entry. And they have to gain entry by adding spiritual value in some way. So they might want to bring a sacrifice, and it could be you. They might want to bring a sacrifice. The sacrifice could be a person, or they have particular skills and abilities themselves that they bring. You want to build a coven. A coven is 13 members, okay? 13 witches, warlocks, whatever. You want to build a coven. What is the point of all of us in here? We can all do the same thing. You want to build something that is diverse. Somebody here can astral project. Somebody here is psychic. Somebody here can move objects without being there. We have 13 members, so anytime we encounter a problem, there is somebody here who can handle it, and then it's complete. Now, I don't know this for sure, but I'm using my common sense here. Why would I want to be a part of a covenant? All of us could do the same thing. I'd rather do that on myself, because you can't even trust witches. Witches are naturally like, anybody working with dark energies, like it's like thieves. They know not to trust each other 100%. But you're in a coven. If you want to enter these societies, you need to bring some value. Sometimes the value is you. They're like, I know an earth angel. I can bring them in. They come, they take some of your energy, your purity, your light. They bring it. They transfer this energy through sex magic. They probably have other ways, but that's one way I know that they do it. They give each other your energy, and good things start happening in their life, and they're like, oh my God, we need that person's energy. Bring them in. They get desperate for your energy, and then you start getting gang stalked, and they push out their dirty energy into your space, and they pull your light. So that's one way of entering the spiritual realm. And the other way is when the universe initiates you, and the universe initiates you, no one can control your ascension. You ascend on your own. You are ready on your own. So you go from a normal person, a baker, a shoemaker, a whatever, and everything that you can do, it is a gift. It is a blessing. You think that the gifts have to be like being psychic and whatever, but what if you could just make things from scratch? What if you can just make shoes? What if you could do these? What if you could sing? What if you could dance? What if you can listen to a piece of music and then play it on a piano? How is that not a gift that's going to make you money? Because when it's given from God, it will be done at such a high capacity that it will be glorified everywhere you go. As soon as you start playing that piano, everybody freezes. People want to patronize you. People in high places call you. They repost your video. They do this, they do that. This is the gift that they want. The gift. This is the gift that they want. They want your gifts. And they want you to actualize your gifts, begin to actualize it, start the business, start the career, start whatever. And when it's ripe, they want to pick it. That's when they want to take the energy. Now you can no longer create. You are not in a place where you can sit and you can focus on your talent. You don't want to sing anymore. You don't want to look good anymore. You don't want to do things anymore because they want to take it from you. I am just here to tell you, there is a process. There is a process to the ascension. I got to go back and I got to revise my phases of ascension, or actually the phases of ascension are correct. Maybe I need to talk about how it looks like when you're done the death and rebirth part of your process, when you've gone through all your challenges, learned all your lessons, because you got to learn all, because you cannot come out of ascension. You cannot come out of here not knowing how to meditate, not knowing how to pray, not knowing how to call in your spiritual help, not knowing how to change your vibration. What is changing your vibration? It means somebody throwing something, a wrench into your plans that will piss you off, right before you get on stage to play that piano, dull your mood, take away your high. And it means being so in control of your vibration that you shrug it off, you wipe it off, and you go back out there in the best of moods, in the highest of vibrations, and you play that piano doubly well. Doubly well. You take their energy and you alchemize it, you use it as motivation, and you play that piano doubly well. That's the night you get the standing ovation, you get the award. Somebody took a video and it's the most played video you have on Google. That is how it works. Alchemy, taking their energy and using it to boost you higher. They don't want to give me spell work anymore, these bastards. They don't want to do that anymore, and they should. That's their job. They're not doing their job. Their job is to send me spell work, and they don't want to do any of that. But it doesn't matter because they gave me 2 years. 2 years of energy. A lot of people are drained right now. A lot of people. Because when you're building a house and they want to take everything from you, but they're throwing stones. Now you don't have to leave the foundation to go look for stones to build your cement. Now you have stones. And they're throwing boulders now. That's perfect because you need pillars for 4 corners. You need boulders. They're throwing sticks. You kind of need that too. Everything they throw at you, you use. Everything can be put to use. This is what I'm saying. You really have to take this process slowly. You got to take your time to go through it, not rush it, not skip steps. Even if you skip the steps, you will be held there until you learn what they're trying to tell you. So it's best you take it slow and really learn. And some point intuitively, you're going to be like, wait, I think I'm supposed to be learning something here. Because every time I learn a lesson, it changes. The environment changes. It's almost like a ball of wind comes. It's like, shh, and we're in a new environment. It's like a video game. You go from scene to scene to scene to scene. And every mistake is meant to happen because you think it's a mistake, but it's not. It's meant to happen. You are meant to fumble. Even if the only purpose is to see it as a mistake. Damn, I made a mistake. Okay, well, moving forward, now you know you never do that again. I used to say to myself, how comes I wasn't spiritually cleaning as consistently in the beginning? How comes I didn't connect the dots? Well, you know what? Because I had to live in that mess to understand how important it was. It had to happen. I had to see what was happening when I wasn't consistent. Now that I'm consistent, they can't touch me. Everybody else is falling sick. You know, we'll sneeze in the day and we'll clean it all up. And then the next day it's like reader after reader is like, I'm under the weather, I'm sick, this is not working, that is not working. Because they just haven't gone through that phase yet. They're gonna get to that phase. They're gonna learn because they are of service. Once you're of service, the universe puts you in a situation where you can't finagle your way out. You gotta go through it. I'm gonna read my notes because my notes were very specific. So the message here, and this is gonna be the title of this video either way because this was the message. As long as you keep going, success is guaranteed. And I talked about the law of averages. That is just the law of averages. If you do something only once, then your success rate is 50-50. And as you continue doing it, your success rate goes up to 100. So if you do something every day for years, you're going to be successful at it no matter what you do. As long as you keep persisting and moving through gang stalking, there's no such thing as you're not making it through gang stalking. That is the law of averages. You're not just standing still like a sitting duck looking around and complaining every day, but you're learning lessons. You're learning from your challenges. You're learning to get over challenges. You're learning to endure. You're learning what real strength is. You thought you were strong. Real strength, it is going past your limits every time new limits are there. It's like exercising. You run you run a meter and that's your limit. You're tired. And next time you go 2 and 3 and 4. And before you know it, you're doing 6 meters. And other people who are just starting are like, you run how much? And you're like, this is not for beginners, because you're not a beginner. So we're going to take you from a beginner, a novice, and very quickly scale you up to a grandmaster in 2 years. That's what it took for me, 2 years. I'm going to read this so it makes more sense. Your ascension is scaling a mountain, because you're ascending, you got to climb. This mountain is immovable and it cannot be negotiated. It cannot be escaped. There are going to be many periods of exhaustion, grief, regret, sadness, and hopefully not too many moments of feelings of defeat. In those times, you call on us, your dead, your ascended, your ancestors, your Holy Mother, your Heavenly Father for strength. At these times, we carry you through. Point in that there were periods of my ascension that my lifeless body was being held up. I promise you, I was so exhausted. I'm not even just talking about mentally or emotionally. I mean, physically, my energy was low. I still had to go to work. I still had all these responsibilities. And where I used to have so much strength, I used to be drained. And I still had to go through and do things. But God would literally put people in place for me to assist me. People who would carry that load for me. My children kicked in for me. All kinds of things. So you will be carried through, but you got to tap them in. Like wrestling, I say it all the time. You watch wrestling, they got to tap people in. That's what you got to do. There are no mistakes here. And you must physically, on a human level, do this alone. To prepare you to be a leader. To prepare you to be unreproachable. Where to ensure that no one can say, because you had help, or because you got lucky, or even because the police saved you. They must see you and believe in the power of the Most High. This is your undisputable ranking up. This is your transformation from fearful to powerful to a person who is to be feared. From worry to determined to a conqueror. From hopelessness to an ascended master. When you get to the top of your mountain, you will pitch your flag and stake your claim and tell the rest and show them that this is how it's done. The reason you're being attacked is because you are going to be the living proof of God. The reason you're being attacked is because you're going to wake the others up and show them the way. You're going to show them that they don't need a savior, that they could take their own Christ walk. This is why you are being attacked during your ascension, to prevent your ascension, because you're going to prove people to be liars. The energies that you are carrying are way too powerful for you to not know how to carry them in a physical vessel. These enemies also have powerful enemies. The gods walk among us, and you essentially are being prepared to be one of them. This is your calling. You are here to clean up energy vampires, spiritual deviants, and spiritual criminals. People who the universe have no choice but to get rid of because they are carrying energies that have given them a stronghold. And people like you are the only people that can clean up these energies. This is the purpose of your ascension. These people, I hate to say it, are a pain in the ass. It is what it is. they, through their free will, are abusing spiritual laws. It's like people who get to find out how things work and then they use it to be spiritually manipulative. A lot of the times you're going to be drained by these energies just having to experience them. And a lot of the times you're going to be disgusted by it. You're literally going to be disgusted. That is normal. You are being encouraged to do this job with passion because of the difficult moments that are going to arise. You have to master your vibrations and your feelings. You must master your vessel. Not many people walk around intentionally being able to master their vibration and their vessel, because often we are controlled by this body. When we feel lust, we succumb to it. We follow that feeling. We feel angry, we follow that feeling. We feel hungry, we follow that feeling. So you have to master your physical vessel. You have to learn how to fast, to give up food. You have to learn how to give up sex. Give up everything that feels good. Avoid everything that feels bad. To have reason to be pissed off and not be pissed off. To have reason to want to give up and not give up. To have reason, all hopelessness around you, and still keep faith. You must master the vibration to change the environment around you. That is what an alchemist does. That is a magician. That is what you're here for, the magic. That is what a grand master is. That is how you get out of gang stalking. It is hopeless. They're piling up on you. They're all around you. But if you change your vibration, if you are hopeful, if you keep going, if you endure, if you believe in yourself, if you follow instructions, if you're obedient, you will change the vibration around you. You must believe in your magic and you must believe in yourself. This is what this is about. You cannot be a magician if every time something walks by that turns you on, you go chasing after it. It's like, imagine two dogs. One dog who you can put a piece of raw steak in front of it and tell it not to eat it and it won't. And another dog that can't even control itself when you walk in with the steak. It'll bite the steak out of your hand. These are two different people. You want to be the dog who sits in front of a steak, in front of a $2 million check, to keep you quiet about your gang stalking experience, to negotiate with you and say, we're going to settle with you out of court. And you say, no, we're going to go to court. I'm going to take my chances because you believe in the mission that God put you here for, which is to put them in jail. And you don't worry about missing out on 2 million, because if they're offering you 2 million, God must have 200 million for you. But even if the universe didn't have 200 million, do you not think you would be rewarded for completing your service? And I want to let you know the real way it works is exactly that. If they offer you 2 million, the universe has 200 million for you. There's no such thing as you're going to turn that down and be broke. It might not come in the way you think. Maybe you might just be there kicking yourself for 2 years, and one day someone hears you play the piano and Elton John reposts your video to his 200 million followers, and now networks are contacting you, and within 6 months you have the same $200 million contract. Don't test God. Do as you're told, period. That is how it works. You believe in what you're supposed to believe in, and you do your job with passion, because you will be tested. They will dangle money in your face And when you don't take the money, they're going to gang stalk you. So get through gang stalking strong, because you might be gang stalked again because they don't like you. After that, they hate you. And you're an example to other people that they can refuse money. They don't like anything that you stand for. You're a problem. You see? Do you see how it works? I hope it's all connecting. Master your vibration. Be able to take yourself from low vibrations to high vibrations, from negativity to positivity, from hopelessness to hopefulness, and trust in God in all ways. I don't care what you see in front of you. You keep going, because as long as you keep going, success is guaranteed. These are not going to be easy battles, and they're not going to be short battles. So the mastering of your vibration is absolutely critical to getting through a long battle that is intense. That is intense. The enemies that you face will continue to grow and get bigger and scarier. And your faith needs to get bigger and scarier. You have to stay high vibing, or else you start distancing yourself from your protection. The minute this is what they want to do. They want to lower your vibration, because the minute you get more hateful, the minute you get more resentful, the minute you get pessimistic, you distance yourself from the vibration of the energy that you are supposed to carry. So this energy is also always going to want to keep you in a high vibration. And so this is where the tools that I give you help you, not just to clean your environment, but also to bring your vibration back up. Let me tell you something. You don't need a couple weeks or a couple months to heal from heartbreak. You need like an hour or two. Go get yourself a spiritual bath. Make yourself a nice meal. Relax. You might not be hungry. You won't be hungry until you get over it. You have to develop your own ways of raising your vibration. You give yourself an hour. That's it. You don't have to sit in that yuckiness too long. And eventually you get into a process where it gets shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. What took a month, what will now take a week, will now take a day, will now take 2 hours, will now be like, I don't like this, and you brush it off. I don't like that, and you brush it off. I don't want that. I don't need that. Not because the reality is not real, but because you control reality now. You are an ascended master. You control reality. You don't have to sit in anything that you don't want, including gang stalking. You do not have to sit in gang stalking. So as soon as you learn that with your mind and your vibration and your intention, that you can control reality, that you control the circumstances, that you command life to succumb to your will, then you stop worrying about reality. Because you control it. You stop worrying about it. That is my message for tonight. I'm going to pull 2 cards. The first will be a crystal card. I've been wanting to read this card. I'm going to put it aside. I'll read it anyways. Let me see if there's any other cards. You're going to collect crystals, because crystals to me are like magic space rocks. I don't think crystals came from Earth. I don't know why I feel that. I just don't. I feel like crystals were like a gift to us. And we get crystals and they change your life without you actually doing the physical work. The crystal just does some work for you. If things were happening to you and you were suffering from things, the crystal just cleans it up. You know how much energy it takes with your vibration to block negative energy, and then you get a crystal and it does it for you. It's a workhorse. So it's like some people, I've heard people say that crystals have souls. I never thought about it that way. But watch Steven's Universe. It's just all about crystals. The crystals were from outer space and they have a vibration. They're way too strong. I don't know. But anyway, it's just my thing that I believe. Nobody told me this, just what I feel. The stone that came up is apatite, and it's the crystal of spiritual development. And this is the interface between consciousness and matter. conscious being, someone with a soul, a spirit, a consciousness, and matter. So this is the interface. This is what this stone is. The vibration is high. It is a stone of manifestation attuned to the future and yet connecting to past lives. Apatite balances the physical and subtle energy bodies and overcomes nervous exhaustion. The stone develops your psychic abilities, enhances spiritual development, deepens meditative states, and raises Kundalini energy. Clearing blockages in the base chakra, apatite, now I'm going to fight with this word, ameliorates frustration and supports expressing passion without guilt. So, all of us together are going to learn a new word because I'm not comfortable not knowing a word. And by the way, anytime you hear a word that you don't know what it is, all you got to do is Google the word, and that's how the words stop intimidating you. The meaning of, let's hear the definition.
Ameliorate.
Ameliorate. The meaning of ameliorate is to make something bad or unsatisfactory better. The reform did much to ameliorate living standards. So let's read this again. Clearing blockages in the base chakra. The base chakra is the root chakra. It's the chakra of your stability, your financial stability, your material wealth. So it clears blockages to, let's say, work, your business, production. Apatite ameliorates or makes better frustration and supports expressing passion without guilt. On the body, it deals with the energy system, bones, cells, calcium absorption, cartilage, teeth, joints, rickets, metabolism, glands, meridians, organs, and hypertension. And in the mind, it dispels apathy. Apathy is a lack of feeling. A lack of feeling. So the opposite of love is not hate, because hate takes passion. The opposite of love is apathy, feeling nothing at all. It induces openness and social ease and dissolves alienation. So this is my apatite mala. Mala beads are beads you pray or meditate with. So this is my apatite mala right here. So I don't just meditate with it. As you can see, obviously I wear it. And I don't know, certain stones called to me, and this was one that called to me. So this is the stone, this is the crystal of the day. And the spirit card of the day. I love these cards because they are messages from spirit or your spirit guides. Maybe somebody's spirit guides here have a message for them. Let's see what comes up. Oh my God, too many. Okay. Make it your mission to accept all parts of you, the good and what you perceive to be imperfections. Don't look for any outside validation. It's already within you. Once you realize your true beauty and potential, you will never doubt yourself again. Thank you for anyone watching. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, support the channel. Check out all the playlists of, it's very targeted sort of information that's on there in all the playlists. And, you know, really help yourself understand this thing, this gang stalking journey, make sense of it. We are coming from a place of evolving from gang stalking, not sitting here forever. We absolutely are here to walk away eventually, and they know that. And the one thing that they want you to continue believing is that you're here forever and you'll never get out of it and things will never get better. And I am living proof that every single day things can get better, and that God will make a way as you step into your journey and accept what you're going through and learn from it. Thank you very much, everyone. Have yourself a beautiful evening, and